So, tell us your story. Tell us about growing up.
Well, I was born in a little 2 up and 2 down house at 61 Mortimer Street in Oldham. And I was born on the 8th of May, 1940. My first memory is they thought I had a disease, and they took me to the hospital, and they kept me in there, I think for like 3 days, and found out that I didn't have it anyway, and they let me come home. I have 2 brothers. Bernard was older than me, and Patrick was younger. We were normal boys. We did a lot of fighting. My mom used to get mad at us, but we used to, me more than anybody else, I used to pick her up and put her in the coal cellar and lock the door so that we could fight, and she could hammer on the door. It was a fun house. I mean, my dad worked hard. In fact, he had a point in time where he worked 18 years without ever taking a day off. Not even vacations. He worked hard for us. He was a good father. And my mom was brilliant. She worked in the cotton mill. There's different names for people for their jobs, but she was what they called a little dolpher. What that was, I have no idea. We used to go to the mill for Christmas parties, and we saw all the machines, and we actually saw them working. And I thought, wow, I wouldn't like to get my hand in there. But it was a good time. All the streets that we lived in, there was no front yards, or it was a curb. A lot of the kids that lived within half a mile of where we lived all used to gather together to play games. A game called Rally-O, where everybody hid, and one person who was on had to go find them. But then when they found them, they had to race them back to where the den was, and they had to shout 2, 4, 6, Rally-O. And if they got that done before the guy got and touched the wall, then he was out, and he had to sit down and wait for the rest of them to get caught. But it was a good neighborhood, good people all around. Our house was the end of a block. And the fireplace on the inside of the house was on that wall. So outside, that wall was warm. And so it'd be like 20 kids all sitting down with their backs to the wall to keep warm, because it was a cold place. And my mom used to make sandwiches, simple, bread and butter with jam on it, and she'd bring a big plate, pile up with them out, and we'd all enjoy them. and just talked and laughed and joked. And my childhood was very, very good. I would say some of the things that we did was we used to pick sides, and we would play good guys and bad guys.
Mm.
And I remember one particular item where my brother Bernie was on the opposite side, and we were throwing stones, and I picked up this piece of slate, you know, the slate off a roof, and I skimmed it. Wasn't looking to hit anybody. It was just caught Bernie right in the head. Cool. It stuck in his head. and he was screaming, and he was running up to the house, up the hill.
Yeah.
Because there was a big croft where we used to play all this stuff. And all the rest of us were trying to grab him,
right,
so we could pull it out before he got home and showed Mom.
Right, because then everybody gets in trouble.
Yeah, because everybody, yeah. So we didn't. We couldn't catch him. He got in, and Mom pulled it out, and it didn't need stitches or anything. He was fine, but it was a nasty cut. So that was one incident of our childhood. The other ones, I went to a school called Higginshaw Secondary Modern. Started at 4 years of age, and left when I was 15. I was the one that always got in trouble. Bernie being the oldest, and he also went to grammar school. So he was kind of like the blue-eyed boy. And Paddy being younger, he didn't get in trouble. Well, he did later on, but not at that point in time. But that was my childhood. It was a matter of, I loved the game of rugby. I played it. At one time, I was playing for 3 teams all in the same weekends. I was playing for the school on Saturday morning. I was playing for a Con-10 league, which was 16 to 18 on a Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday morning, I'd go and play in the junior league, which the junior league at that time was open age. There were guys of 30, 35, and my uncle, Harold Dawson, he played for Higginshaw juniors, and he asked me would I come down and play, and I said, nah, I've got 2 leagues I'm playing in now. But anyway, a week later, this guy knocked on the door, and my mom opened the door and she said, Desmond, it's for you. And I went to the front door, and there was this guy was stood there, and his name was Johnny Hanley, and he was the secretary of Higginshaw Open Age Rugby Club. And he said, we would like you to come down and have a trial and see if you're interested in playing with us. And I thought, Harold, you've done it to me, haven't you? And he had. And so I went down and I had a trial with them, and started playing scrum half for them. And I played with them I started playing rugby when I was 7 years old for the school team. And I finished playing when I came over from England to America, and I was 27 years old. So I played for 20 years. I had a lot of injuries and cuts, and you know, you don't care, you just keep going. Yeah, one time I remember I played against for the town team against a team called Wakefield. It's a separate town. They're up in Yorkshire, and they played us. And this guy, this big guy, a prop forward, I dove down on the ball, and as I dove down on the ball, he came up and he kicked, trying to kick the ball out of my possession, I guess. But he broke my right hand on the back there. And I had to go to the infirmary and get a plaster cast put on.
Mm-hmm.
So about a month later, we were going up there to play him. Excuse me. We were going up there to play him up there in Wakefield. And I said to Webby, because Webby played for the town team too. I said, Webby, you got to get this off. I've got to take it off, otherwise they won't let me play. So we went around the back of the school, and he had a pair of scissors, and we cut this plaster cast off. And I went into the headmaster, Wanacott, he was called, and he was part of the committee for the town team. And he said, have you been to the hospital? What did they say? I said, they cut it off. I'm fine, I can play. Good. So we went to Wakefield, and I couldn't wait to get on the field. I wanted this guy. And he didn't play. So he didn't catch that game. And so I didn't get a chance to get my own back on it. But in the Continental League, which was the 16 to 18-year-olds, my younger brother, Paddy, Patrick, we call him Paddy, he played for the same team. And we played a team called Hebden Bridge. And the guy, I put the ball in the scrum, and this hooker guy lashed out with his foot, and he caught me right in the head. I've still got marks now. And it knocked me out, and they carried me off, and they were trying to bring me around on the sidelines, and they did. And I said, I'm fine now, I can go back in. And Paddy come over, he's at a break, and he came over, he said, you don't have to come back in, I took care of him. So I said, okay, good. So I didn't have to go back in and play. Paddy had done the job for me.
Did he tell you what he did?
Yeah, he caught him in the scrum. Hit him.
Yeah.
Squashed his nose. And he had to go off, get some treatment. But that was the kind of thing, you didn't care, you just did it, and then it was over and done with, and at the end of the game you shake hands and everybody's friends again. So, but it was a good life.